Told the plug I need 100 pigs. Now my shoebox got 100 G. I told my plug I need 100 pigs. Now my shoebox got 100 G. Told the plug I need 100 pigs. Now my shoebox got 100 G. I told my plug I need 100 pigs. Now my shoebox got 100 G. I'm in Cali every week. I go hard.
Tell me when, Harry. You're listening to Cannabis Corner on WNHHLP 103.5 FM, broadcasting live from downtown New Haven. We are streaming live on TuneIn Radio and NewHavenIndependent.org. We're also streaming live video on Facebook Live. Just go to facebook.com/New Haven Independent or go to your Facebook page and look us up.
We're also on Instagram Live on my feed here. I know Kebra's calling it. Kebra's on the phone. And, you know, we try to make sure all the social networks there and there are connected. Like us on Facebook. Right there, the New Haven Independent, which is why I love that, Joe. It comes right up on your Facebook app.
That's right.
It
See
comes
first.
right there. See first. And it's pretty cool.
Harry, how we doing? Do we have Kebra? Hello?
Yes, I'm here.
Hey,
Oh, there it is.
Technology.
Kebra, there we go. We got it working. We had a little technical difficulty, but we got you on the air real quick. How you doing?
Hey. I'm good. Almost. I'm on 91.
Can you turn her up a little, Harry?
Very nice. Did the furniture come?
The furniture came.
Yes.
Cool.
We are very excited for your grand opening, November 9th, right?
Yes.
So everybody make sure
Yes,
you...
super excited.
Yes. So November 9th, that Hartford area. I know we're more the New Haven radio station down here, but tell your friends.
Yeah.
Share.
Yep.
Kebra would
4
love to see
7,
everybody.
Just come, see the place.
Yes.
Learn a little bit about the program, and then on the 10th, we'll be actually doing medical marijuana certifications in Hartford and in New Haven from 10 to 2. And if you use the code word grand opening, you get an extra 25% off.
Wow.
A standard certification.
At either location, right?
At either location.
What?
Wow.
That's awesome. So even New Haven gets the pleasure of...
I'm going to send a bunch of people
That's
down
awesome.
there that day.
Yes, it's a celebration.
That's right.
it. And we'll be having a class there the same day, too. So we'll maybe be having the edibles class that day. Maybe we'll bring over some treats.
Ooh.
Ha.
Tons of great things.
Yeah.
Always a great thing.
And we got a medical class this Saturday, right, Kebra? We had to postpone the class from last Saturday.
That
Yeah,
nor
for
ether.
nothing. The weather was just a little rainy. That was all.
No,
Well,
they made it
Weather
seem like it was so much
scared the
more.
heck out of us.
The news made it seem like it was going to be so much more.
Yeah. Hey, I think we
Yeah,
did the
and we
right
were-
thing.
Considering safety for everyone and our students and stuff like that, But anyway, we will have it this upcoming Saturday, so I'm excited. We have a whole new curriculum that we're going to be sharing with
Yep.
folks. So even if you've been to one of the medical marijuana classes before, it'll be some new content. So please make sure that you come and learn about this wonderful program that needs a lot of work, but at least we have access to medical marijuana here in the state of Connecticut.
Right.
Mhm.
So let's learn about it so we can take advantage of it.
Real
Yes.
quick, Kebra, I wanted to ask
Yes.
you, last week you went to a symposium, I guess it was, up in Hartford regarding medical marijuana in the workplace. And you had some interesting information that you wanted to bring back about the tone and the attitude of the people that were there and their attitude towards medical marijuana. And I think it's important we share that on the show. What were you
Okay.
finding? What did
So
you find
I
up
actually
there?
went to two kind of similar symposiums within a week of each other. One was I wasn't a panelist. I just was an attendee, and that was at the Department of Labor. And there was a medical review officer. So that's a doctor who reviews drug tests at drug testing centers like Quest or LabCorp. When you go to take a pre-employment exam, there's a medical review officer that signs off on your results before they go to an employer. And there was also a human resources executive from the town of Stratford who works in HR, so they've been dealing with medical marijuana issues. And then there was a lawyer that was his area of specialty was employment law and And I guess he's been advising his clients in regard to medical marijuana. So the overall attitude in the room, which there were, the attendees were primarily HR people and business owners, so employers, and their attitude was that they don't want medical marijuana in their workplace. They don't want medical marijuana consumers in their workplace, and they feel like, dealing with this is now an added headache. There were so many misrepresentations of what consuming cannabis means and how it affects people, and all sorts. They really just are ignorant to what medical marijuana can do for individuals and how it affects individuals. And so it was just really interesting to be in that room, to be an advocate, and to have to really defend medical marijuana patients as employees' rights. But I feel like I represented.
Of course you
and
did.
I made sure that people, knew what the program consisted of, what type of people. My biggest thing that I said in both that symposium and the one that I was on the panel is that when you have medical marijuana patients, people who have gone through the process to become patients in the state, those are the employees that you want. These
Yes.
are people who are responsible. They're going above. I mean, we can all get cannabis. They sell weed everywhere. Like, there's no way that we can't have access to cannabis. But so that access in and of itself isn't, the main reason that people obtain medical marijuana cards. One of the main reasons is to be responsible, to be within the law, to follow the rules. And so if you have an employee that's probably the driving force with getting their medical marijuana card, that would seem like that would be the employee that you want. Someone
right.
that consumes responsibly, knows what they're consuming, and so trying to relay that to them was interesting. But and then there were several things like, I didn't know that you cannot be randomly drug tested unless you're a civil servant, like a police officer, firefighter, or you work in DOT, but that's on the federal side. So it's not permissible in the state of Connecticut for an employer to randomly drug test you. They can request a drug test of you if it appears that you're under the influence. But other than that, and then that's extremely subjective. So, you have rights even within that request. But also, if you are a medical marijuana patient and you're going for a pre-employment drug screen and you are consuming cannabis and you come up positive on at the lab or with the testing facility, the medical review officer has to then go back and call you and say, listen, you came up positive for marijuana, THC. Is there, anything you'd like to disclose before they inform the employer? So once the patient discloses to the medical review officer that they have a medical marijuana card, then that test result is changed from a positive to a negative and then submitted to the employer. So that should be the process. Anything outside of that is outside of the law and outside of the rules and regulations of the Department of Labor. One thing that can affect that is that the medical review officer has the ability to not tell your employer that you were positive for marijuana, let's say, but they can say, we feel like they need a fit for duty test, which is an alert to an employer that they came up positive for something, in a drug test. And so that in and of itself can be discriminatory in nature, but the state statutes and federal statutes do give the medical review officers that power, that ability determine or to kind of give an employer a hint. But again, at this point, a job offer should have been already made. So an offer of employment should have been made. So if they rescind that offer based on your test results as a medical marijuana patient at all, then that is illegal and they can be sued and held liable.
Right. That was a case that was just determined here in Connecticut, right?
Yes. Yep. Yeah. There was definitely a case like that, but just know that sets a precedent. But we also have to know what rights we have as employers in this state.
Right.
Excuse me, employees. I keep mixing the two up in the state because we can say, hey, that's not right to say I need to take a random drug test. No, once you've made an offer, that offer should stand despite the fact that I'm a medical marijuana patient.
Right.
And things of that nature. I think it's just a matter of knowing. And I will also say the second event that I was at the Department of it was a Department of Transportation symposium. There were some people on the federal level of the DOT who were present during the symposium and during my talk. And they're really attempting to prepare themselves for federal legalization. So putting mechanisms in place to protect, the rights of federal employers and employees and how to deal with medical marijuana in like transportation, with transportation issues, trucking,
right.
Things of that nature. So
CDLs and all that.
They're trying to get ahead of it, but the good thing about it is they want the right information and they want to make an educated decision and they're planning it ahead because they know that federal legalization is happening. So it's good to at least know that they want the correct information.
Right, right. Well, that's a good thing. At least they're getting proactive about it.
Exactly.
Yeah. So what was their thoughts there? What was their, were they a little more open to it?
Everyone's concerned, and I definitely want to be considering people's concerns with cannabis consumers and driving. But as we all know, first of all, it is illegal to drive under the influence of anything, and so that should be something that as responsible users, consumers, that we should not be doing anyway. But just informing them that, for instance, if someone smokes, they consume by combustion, that high that's related to it if they consume THC, it dissipates within 1 to 2 hours.
Right.
So if a truck driver, let's just say, consumes cannabis at 7 o'clock or 8 o'clock at night before he goes to bed to get up at 6 in the morning, at 6 in the morning, he'll no longer be high.
Right.
So I think the lack of understanding about the fact that cannabis stays in your system for 30 days doesn't mean you're high for 30. Lord knows,
right?
Wouldn't that be a great thing?
Right.
It'd be way more cost effective.
You get high once and it lasts for a month. I like that.
Way more cost effective.
But and even with edibles, explaining the same kind of thing. So if it's something that you're orally consuming, that it's out of your system within, oftentimes anywhere between 8 to 12 hours. So it all depends on the individual. But overall, if you have someone with severe back pain, insomnia, sleep apnea, and they use cannabis at night, they're fine to work in the morning.
Yeah, right.
So they, just those little nuances that people are unaware of, just to kind of help them understand and be more willing to not being discriminatory against employees who are medical marijuana patients.
Right. Well, that's good.
Because it's illegal. Ultimately, I mean, the right choice is not to discriminate against medical marijuana patients because it's illegal to do so.
But. Right. So, all right, Kebra, we got to get you off the phone. We got our other guy calling in. We got George Zito calling in from.
We don't have three-way? Jeez.
Oh, I don't know. Can we do a three-way, Harry? Let's see. All right. When he calls the number, we're going to find out, Kebra. Oh, tell him to call
but
the other number.
So, is he calling?
I don't know. We're going to tell him to call a different number
All right.
and see if he'll call.
Okay.
All right. So then maybe we can do a three-way.
But yeah, what did y'all do this weekend?
Well, I went somewhere
Yeah,
Friday
glad.
night. I went to a party on Friday night. It was nice, a little private.
How was it?
It was good. I went to one in Connecticut. It was small, very well attended though. There were a lot of people there, a lot of good vendors
Nice.
there. I don't know, Lou. Did you end up going to the one on Saturday, the Ghouls and Goblins?
I did not, but I stayed in contact with the event because we were one of the Rec Book was a sponsor of the event up there.
Right.
So we sponsored Bobby Nugg's event. It was an awesome holiday party, and it was no vending. It was just a holiday party with a swag bag, so it was a gift bag and consumption.
Right.
And great little place in Worcester, Electric Haze.
Right.
So because it's a popular venue out there, it's always a good time. And we really had a great time sponsoring that, seeing all the pictures, getting in contact with everybody. I had some glass sent down this way.
Oh, good.
Yeah. I started this glass blower out of New Hampshire, Mohawk Glass. Makes these little skulls.
Yeah, I know him.
Yeah,
I know Josh.
Yeah, Josh is a good guy. He makes these skulls, and I bought a bunch.
Oh, okay. Well, you got to
Yeah.
bring one down. Bring one in
Yeah.
next week. Show the people.
Definitely will. What do we got, Harry, going on over there?
I
Because
don't
we put
know.
him to work today.
I
First
know
the
we
board
did.
wasn't working, and now we're putting him find the three-way.
Well, I'm on.
Is
I'm
he
on
calling?
exit 12, so I'm close.
You're close.
Did he call?
Well, he was trying to call the other number, and now he's all right. He should be calling the other number. This other number now. 684.
All right.
Finally.
We got a notice here on Facebook here too.
What are we doing? Lots of notices. Oh man,
What are we having a problem here?
we put Harry to work
what
today.
Something's going on. There's a lot of glitches in the studio today.
Like you said, there's
Oh.
some random bugs in our studio today.
What
It's
did you
going
do this
crazy.
weekend,
Yeah, what did you
Kebra?
do?
Me?
Yeah.
I don't know. I was sad about canceling everything all weekend long.
Yeah, for that
But,
weather, man.
I finished up on my presentation. This was my last week of this semester of school, so I had a final exam, and I did that, and nothing really. My life was kind of boring this weekend.
Yeah, mine too.
I cleaned my room.
That's a good thing
Which is
sometimes.
sad.
Right.
Put all those clothes away.
Sometimes I don't want to say boredom, but sometimes resting out a little bit goes a long way. We've been on our move for a little while now, and
Non-stop.
nonstop.
Yeah, non-stop.
Yeah.
Well, the holidays are coming up, so that's going to be a good thing as well.
So,
Yeah.
do we still have that poll up, Harry?
We
do?
had a poll going.
We got a poll going on the Facebook page, which kind of fits into something I
So
wanted
if
to
you
cover
go
today.
on to the New Haven Independent Facebook page, there is a poll there, and it says, "Do you support recreational marijuana?" And there's a little yes or no option. A couple people have started already taking their look at it, and if you wage on in, you can take and
Yeah, we want to
interact with
see
everybody.
if it fits in with the national. A poll just came out, the Gallup poll.
Okay.
2/3, 2 out of 3 Americans endorse marijuana legalization.
Wow. And this was a national poll?
66% nationally.
Wow.
Speaking of endorsing people, we're down to the wire, so we don't mind talking politics a little bit on this.
No,
show.
not at all.
Not at all. That's
There's
what we
a lot
do.
of undecided people. There's a couple people I know who want to vote for Oz. But I feel like that might split the vote a little bit. So what do you guys think? I mean, Ned Lamont and Bob Stefanowski are neck and neck at this point.
I like the fact that the Hartford Courant endorsed Oz Griebel. And I want to see what his poll numbers look like after that endorsement. If we can get
Okay.
this race into a good 3-way race, I might go with Oz. Because I will be honest.
Well, if it looked more like a race as opposed to just someone taking votes one way or another, I would go with Oz too.
Yeah, I want to see how this
I don't
affects
know.
the polls. Because if it gets to be where it's 3-way split, then I might go with Oz because then I feel like he has a chance. For some reason, Ned Lamont I just don't have a good feeling about him, and that's really all I'm going to say about it. And I never have. I know he's run 3 other times.
I mean, and listen, I felt like this with Hillary Clinton and Trump.
Right.
I was really torn because I don't know, something about Hillary Clinton doesn't represent anything about me. Everyone's like, she's a woman, so you should have just voted. No.
No, right.
Not necessarily, but I definitely voted for her, but it wasn't with a good, like, comfortable feeling. I was just like, well, this is the lesser of 2 evils. And
Right. When do you get to the
I feel
point
like
where
we're
you're...
in the exact same position here in Connecticut, where a lot of people aren't really feeling Ned Lamont, but they don't want Bob Stefanowski.
Because they're afraid of him, because of Trump, because he's associated himself with Trump.
Said, like Trump, I such and such and such.
Oh, yeah, he did it. He associated himself with him. He did it.
Oh, yeah.
I
mean, because it works. It works across the country. I would think that this would be working more in middle America than here in Connecticut.
It's working here in Connecticut.
He has a lot of leverage. People like what he's confident. He speaks well. He stays on task and issues, and so he outshines Ned Lamont often in these debates and these conversations. And
it's going to be interesting. We got a week to go.
He says things that you want to hear, where sometimes you have to hear things, because I've sat and I've listened to Ned a couple times defend why he understands that we're going to have to raise some taxes more than likely. And they're valid points, and nobody ever likes hearing that, especially coming from the Democratic Party when the Republican Party is yelling we're going to cut taxes. But realistically, where, how, from with who, like that's where the realism and those campaign promises that don't last past November. You know what I mean?
Right. That's what we all got to realize. I don't know of any politician who really has ever fulfilled all his campaign promises. ever. That's Obama. Right. That's all of them. Harriet, how are we doing on that call? Any luck?
No,
I just screwing up everything?
I don't know.
I'm actually getting off the Trumbull Street exit.
All right, let's try. All right, we'll see you in a little while. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. All right.
See you in a sec.
Yep.
All right. Bye. All right. So, I guess we'll have George call in on the regular number then. But while we're doing that, I wanted to talk a little bit about the poll. 66% of Americans are in favor that the use of marijuana should be made legal. And this is majorities of every party. So in other words, it's not just Democrats who are saying this. The majority of Republicans, 53%, it's a small majority. The majority of independents, 71%, and Democrats are 75%, all back legalization.
Wow. Those are big numbers.
Yeah, and in between ages 18 to 34, 78% support legalization here nationwide.
So if you're under 35,
yeah,
3/4 of the country basically doesn't mind legalization.
Nope. And then if you're 59% of those over 55, back legalization. So even they got a majority of seniors
of the people,
of the majority of the country wants legalization federally.
And what's interesting is that's so many different sectors. So you're looking at 50-something% of the GOP, but an overwhelming percentage, over 75% of the Democratic, and then the Independent Party just as high.
Yeah.
But now you break that down even more into age brackets, and you're looking at the entire spectrum of over 18. Majority. 70 and change for one age bracket and 50 and change for another age bracket, but it's all over 50%.
Everything. So, and the truth of the matter is they are looking at it on a federal level. As a matter of fact, the FDA is taking people's responses right now. But we'll get into that for a minute. I believe we have our guest on the phone.
Let's see.
George, you on the phone?
Hey.
Oh, all right.
There you go.
Hey, George, how's it going?
George Zito here. Yes.
Doing good, George. So normally what we do is we do a little introduction about who we have going on on our show today. And today we have George Zito, owner of Rubber Match since 1973, one of Connecticut's oldest head shops and activist for cannabis since then. He's joined NORML in 1979 to support the reform of marijuana laws he thought were unfair during the times to make such a useful plant a Schedule 1 offense. He wanted to keep the momentum going on, and in 2014, he joined CTV and created the talk show Cannabis Then and Now, which is a TV show focusing on cannabis in all different aspects. It was a platform to show the public what an unbelievable plant it really is. Also, give our movement a voice. The show shows results that patients have with this plant. It also shows people what the happiness that this plant can also bring. You can find all the episodes on Cannabis Then and Now on YouTube and other platforms. So now, George, talk to us a little bit there, sir.
You're a veteran in the cannabis industry here.
Yes, sir.
That's why we wanted to have you on. You've been with and I remember going to Rubber Match when I was young.
Hey, Joe, I hear that a lot, Joe. I want to say hello to all three of you folks. I love you guys. You're all cannabis crusaders, as I would call you guys.
Thank you very much, George.
I love the discussion about the opiates. You're all 100% right. Matter of fact, I'll tell you the truth. We brought up that subject in 2014, December of 2014, and it is on YouTube. That episode is even before the regular media started talking about it, because they didn't talk about it until 2015 of February. We brought in the folks from Narcan because we noticed that. People couldn't get the opiates. They went to the heroin, and the overdoses were outrageous. And it's in every state, and in places you wouldn't even think. New Hampshire,
Maine,
Vermont,
yeah.
you know?
Yes, sir.
Maine. It's crazy.
The opioid epidemic isn't a new one. It's just now a forefront topic. You're correct, sir.
And the people that have been on this show, we had people that were addicted to opiates and heroin. Lou, you've seen the shows. You've been on the show. The cannabis, I can't believe what a beautiful, strong plant it is with that CBD in it to take away these urges and like Kebra was saying, get them to sleep or get them to eat or get them, just takes them off that feeling. And it's like, to me, it's the miracle of miracles, you know.
And what
I always say God made it and man made it illegal.
I know, right?
And what we appreciate is that you give a voice. You give a voice to the cannabis. You've also had, similar to what we do here for the radio and the internet, you've done it for the airwaves, and you share them on YouTube. And what's the other platform you have there?
Well, we're going to YouTube, Vimeo. Our show goes on live once a month, and then we rebroadcast it 12 times. I have my friend Judy, who works at the dispensary, and Dr. Majors, who's my co-host. She's outrageous. And just to see the results from the patients that come into this show. And other platforms, too, like the Freedom Rally up in Boston. We had them on the show talking about it. And it's nice to be recognized by the Epileptic Foundation. About 2 years ago, our friend Cindy got us the mud volleyball. We the first time the cannabis team was represented there.
Oh, yeah,
And
she
it
does
helped
that
with
every
the
year.
epilepsy. And the things we've been doing have been unbelievable.
When does the show air?
Beg your pardon?
When does the show air, George?
Joe, the show airs on 7 o'clock on the fourth Tuesday of the month at 7 a.m. on channel 27, New Haven, Hamden, and West Haven, and on channel 99 on Frontier. The other one was Comcast. And then I think we got a lot of, we've been streaming too, and people from, we had people from Australia that watch this show. It's unbelievable the way it's growing.
It's awesome that you offer a platform there, George. And
you know,
We're looking forward to joining you on that show.
Yeah, we want to come on your show one time, George.
Oh, I'd love to have you guys on. Well, we're set for this maybe next month.
Okay, yeah, for December we'll do that. That'd be great.
I'll start working on that show.
All right.
We could do that.
That would be good. We come on.
I definitely think we can do that, there, George. Let's schedule that for December.
Yeah, just let us know.
I think we should.
Where do you do that? Down at the CTV studios?
Yes, CTV studios on State Street, diagonally across the street from Modern Pizza.
Oh yeah, I know where it is. We'll get some pizza afterwards.
And there's a great crew. What I was originally doing, I had to take classes to learn how to produce a show and do all the different things. And I was going to do it on small business. Then I'm thinking to myself, you know what? Cannabis needs a voice. And that's where I had the idea, and we started it in about 2014. So we're in our fourth year.
That's great.
That's awesome. So these are resources that are available through these public networks. So like we're on the New Haven Independent Network. These are areas. Hey,
Kebra just walked in.
Kebra's here. But it's awesome that you take the platform of television and broadcast right here in your local New Haven area, and you're able to actually speak about a topic that's so near and dear to our hearts. In such a time that 2014 was.
Yeah, you're a pioneer.
Pioneering there.
As you were with the rubber match, you're a pioneer.
Joe, I can remember way back when there was the Mexican cannabis. They started spraying it with
paraquat. Yeah,
and we were one of the first people to bring in paraquat test kits. So we don't want any of our brothers and sisters that smoke cannabis to get sick. So we were on Channel 8 News showing people how they could take the test and test their cannabis and make sure there wasn't no poisons on it.
Wow, I remember when that happened.
I mean, we had the government against us. All of this is all ridiculous, man. Schedule 1 drugs.
He's talking about a time when they were poisoning cannabis.
Man, it's crazy.
So now let's
that's
talk
my
about
next thing too. I want to try to get some of our brothers and sisters out of these jails, and you know what I mean.
That's the next thing we got to work on.
Restorative justice. It's a big thing.
Yep.
But now, excuse me, where I show my age a little bit. They were doing what? They were doing what to the cannabis guys? This is a topic we got
back in the 70s.
Yeah.
The U.S. government went into Mexico and Colombia and sprayed all the cannabis with something called paraquat to kill it. And they literally killed off some of the best strains in the world. They killed off Acapulco Gold. Ooh. They killed off Panama Red. Ooh. And they also killed off, Colombian. The Colombian.
I might know a guy with some of those seeds someplace.
Those aren't the real. Yeah, unless
the land rape. He's like 1974 out of a little. That's the funny thing, homeboy. I was up in Massachusetts, and Acapulco Gold was one of those strains my father told me about. So it was one of those, if you ever hear about this is you wanna.
Well, the second part of the story, though, Lou, is they kept selling the weed after they sprayed it.
Oh, that's
the second part. The growers, the Mexicans, and the Colombians, they didn't care.
Man.
That's part 2.
So they were still selling that with the chemical all over it.
Yes.
And so that was still being smuggled in, basically, because the channels were so much harder. Yeah. So they did not care that they sprayed that chemical all over it, and they sent it up here. So now you guys...
They sold the paraquat test kits, which was very controversial in those days because, first of all, they're selling a test kit to test an illegal drug.
Right.
It would be like telling cocaine test kit to test your coke. So they made news on that in the 70s.
We had to protect our brothers and sisters, man.
Right, because we didn't want people smoking bad weed, you know?
Oh, of course.
So did you guys ever...
Our brothers and sisters killing themselves because of some schmoes out there that sprayed it and still sold it.
Oh, man.
And it was the government who did it.
Yeah.
The U.S. government authorized the spraying of the paraquat, but the dealers sold the weed.
Yeah, no ethics back there. And you couldn't really tell if it looked bad.
So true, man. I mean, I cannot believe the growth of the industry from when I started, man. When we're talking 1973 when I started. And like to see it what it is today, it's a beautiful thing, man. People are realizing it, and a lot of things too, like as far as the government with the patents, they put a patent on in 1999,
Right.
saying they have no, they got a patent on it, but yet they say that there's no medical advantage.
That's right.
To the CBD and the cannabis. What is that about? Why do you have a patent? I want to know.
Great hypocrisy.
Man.
Yeah, and
That's what we're up against, man.
Yeah, it's right out there in the open. They don't say anything about it. But I think we're closer than we've ever been to getting legalization. I mean, it looks like even on the federal level, they're taking people's responses from the FDA.
Mm-hmm.
I think that ends today. And there is actually a bill going into Congress to deschedule it. So, I mean, we are making progress. Unfortunately, we're not making great progress here in Connecticut with legalization.
Right. I would love to have Connecticut be able so we could grow our own, you know?
That's all right?
We can't.
Patient home grow would be.
We're the only medical state in New England that doesn't have the patient grow rights. And we're
Isn't that crazy, Joe?
It is
Why?
crazy.
I wonder.
Oh, we know why.
It's the money. It's all about the money.
The money.
Yeah. It's the growers wanted a monopoly, and that's how they set it up. And
they got it.
The people who actually, you were probably a part of Normal back then with Eric and all the other guys who were working on it. They said from the beginning that the legislator told them grow rights are a non-starter. Don't even bother trying to talk us into putting it in the bill. It's a non-starter.
Right.
So we wouldn't have had medical marijuana unless we gave into that. We wouldn't have even had a program.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Joe, it's funny. My episode 3 of the show, we were talking about epilepsy and this and that, and we tried to get it passed, but it didn't pass. But by episode 11, it got passed. So
that's right.
Have it.
Yeah, you were a big part of that.
That's right. There's a lot of other ailments that have been added since the inception of the program, and there will be more that get added throughout time. And it takes advocates, it takes footwork, it takes a lot of pushing. All the conditions that have been added really were. Yep, thank you, George. Thank you to everybody that was doing as much there.
Next thing is opioids. We tried to get it through last year, but we've got to keep pushing on that. We are on one of the few states that hasn't included opioids yet.
That's right.
Other states are adding it left and right.
New York and New Jersey are making waves very quickly.
I know. That's ridiculous.
Right? And we tried.
Like I posted last time, call the congressmen, the senators, the people that want to get elected, and tell them this is what we want. And we're getting a big, over 60% of people want it legalized anyway.
Yep, 66.
What are we waiting for?
These midterm elections are super important. So if you're registered to vote, if you're not registered to vote, get out and get registered. Get registered to vote, and vote. That's the biggest thing.
That's going to support us.
Yeah, candidates that support cannabis.
That's right.
That's really what we got to make sure that our candidates support cannabis or hemp.
And I know that Kebra posted that Ned Lamont is looking for paid people. So no matter what your political view is, realistically, there's somebody's paying. Long pockets. I'm stealing your words. I'll be stealing your words. That's why I love that. That was exactly what it is. And if it gets you involved into your political system locally, it goes a long way, because no matter what your political party or beliefs are, there's somebody there for you. So if you take the time, an hour or two out of your week, and you maybe even just have a conversation with somebody about your political views to help push your issues and your topics. Like I'm ultimately a single issue voter. Give me my marijuana.
All right, George, we got to wrap it up here, but I wanted to get some info from you real quick. Let's give you a plug for Rubber Match.
Yeah.
Where's it located? What are your hours? What can people get there? I know you sell CBD. You sell a bunch of stuff there. Give us a plug for Rubber Match right now.
Thank you, Joe. Well, Rubber Match, we're the oldest head shop in Connecticut. We've been around a long time. At Rock and Roll Museum, we have plenty of glass, hand-blown spoons. We have rigs. Hey, a little bit of everything, man. Hey, I'm even into vinyl again, so if anybody needs any vinyl, we got it.
Yeah.
All right.
And guys, keep doing what you're doing, man. That's just what it's all about.
And you can follow
I'll have you on the
George.
show.
George, how
Thanks
can
for
we
having
follow
me on.
you on the internet?
Beg pardon?
How do you follow on the internet? Rubber Match on Facebook, Instagram?
We go Cannabis then and now for the show, and we do Rubber Match.
Excellent.
It'll be a combination of both, Joseph.
All right, my friend.
Well,
Thank you, sir.
Thank George.
Thank you for having me, guys and
all
girls.
the time. I
God
really
bless you all. Like the fight.
All right.
All right.
Take care, George.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Be well.
You too. Excellent guy, George.
Yeah, I like that guy.
It's funny. He says he started the store in 1973. That's when I started smoking. That was the first time I smoked weed was 1973. I was in high school.
73.
A freshman in high
Hold
school.
on, let me get my calculator, guys.
And he's right all about that. It's a part of history a lot of people don't know about, the paraquat poisoning of all those strains of weed. Yeah, I don't know. We can't hear you that well, Kebra.
Oh.
There you are.
Keeper's in there.
Turn my music up.
Hey, that thing is there. I heard it.
So,
Paraquat. So this was a piece of history I didn't even know about.
yes,
So,
yes.
Learn something new every day.
So
And-
in the 70s, they were spraying the weed and then still selling it.
Yes.
So, and because the weed looked horrible back then, I'm
Nobody
sorry.
knew the difference. It had
Wow.
seeds and stems. Right. Oh, yeah. I'm not going to tell you
Yeah.
it looked great. But Acapulco Gold
I heard that was
gold.
I heard that was that stuff.
It was literally yellow weed. It was
I
gold.
heard it was that stuff.
Wow.
And
it's
Panama
totally
Red was
obliterated?
red.
So
Yeah, it was got obliterated.
There's a-
That's what their point
they're
was.
saying that it's pretty much the land race was pretty much obliterated. But if you had some seeds from back then, so like I was saying, military veteran buddy of mine pulled out a 35 millimeter film container thing,
Full of Acapulco Gold seeds.
a bunch, yeah, and with
Oh,
the
wow.
old masking tape on it, it said 1974 on it.
Wow.
Well, then those
You
are
know,
good.
like
Oh,
some
my
old
goodness.
school. And
What's he doing with them?
Yeah.
Well, he lives in Massachusetts. He was an Apache helicopter pilot in,
And he better
in
start
Vietnam and
running.
everything. Oh, he's got a couple strains going with this thing. He's got his own Acapulco Gold line going. He's not a vendor. He's a personal caretaker for him and a couple of his friends. He's a brother.
Well, he needs
he's
to be
a
my personal.
he's a veteran. He's a veteran. So it's always nice when you sit and talk with those guys who went through a lot and they served many years ago, and now they medicate by recreating basically, and they do
Those guys are
plant therapy.
Vietnam veterans.
Yes,
we're talking.
older
That's
gentlemen.
that's PTSD. We're talking.
Oh yeah,
about. I
they're
don't care.
rough.
No matter what, you go to war, go
They're
into
rough
the
gentlemen. I
service,
love
no
them.
matter if you're in combat or not,
yeah.
you can get PTSD.
Oh yeah.
You
Absolutely.
know, I mean, that's just a given.
going
Just like
through
going
the
to
initial.
prison.
Mm-hmm.
It's like if somebody goes to prison, you know they have PTSD.
Yeah.
You don't even have to ask them.
Mm-hmm.
You don't
I
even
had
have
a
to
patient
diagnose
call
them.
me yesterday. And he was like, I want to come in, and I was like, okay, what are you coming in for? He said PTSD, and he said, do you think I'll qualify? And I was like, have you ever been? Because he said he was on probation
Mm-hmm.
or something. I said, have you ever been to prison? He's like, yeah. And I was like, you automatically.
Yeah,
you're
I mean,
in there.
because
That
you have
urban
it.
trauma.
Yeah.
That trauma is
It's just
there.
automatic. It's
Yeah.
just you
That's
can't
a
even deny
traumatic
it. It's
effect
just
that it's
part of the experience. It's
Exactly.
trauma. They
That's
do that on
that's the
purpose.
point.
Yeah.
They
that's the point.
traumatize you on purpose.
Yeah.
Seriously,
They try
whether
to break you in 30 days.
in
or
the
less.
army or prison,
Mhm.
you know.
Mhm.
And I
Yep,
mean,
same thing.
it's the truth. So, but anyway, we've got to, one thing I didn't talk about today that I did talk about last week on the Joe Ugly show. I don't know if you guys heard about this, but Canada ran out of weed last week.
Oh,
They
Canada.
legalized weed and ran out within 4 days.
I was gonna try
They
to go
love
out and
them
help
mids.
them run out too.
They love the mids. I love it. That it's that marketplace is wide
Yeah.
open.
Yeah.
It really is. I
And
gotta
it is
tell you.
legal, beagle, baby.
Yeah,
It
it's all
is.
over because I mean, obviously, if the whole country ran out of weed, you know, there's a business there. There is a demand
There is a
for
demand.
weed in
And
Canada.
let's not downplay how much cannabis there is in Canada. Because
Yes,
they have a viable.
they export
living-
it
Yeah.
Yes, they do. They export to
because they've
Germany.
had medical for a while.
Yes,
Yeah.
their medical program was ahead of the curve. It was a very large, open, and equitable program Canada
Were
had.
people able to use their insurance or like the
Yes.
Canadian?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
I didn't
Canadian
know that.
insurance covers it,
I know that's
and
right.
then they have home grow rights, and they leave it up to each province on how
Why
they
are
want
we
to.
wasting our time here?
Oh man, Canada
Cold,
is
cold
popping.
up
It's
there.
cold.
Hey,
It is
I-
cold.
That means that I could wear fur with all the money that I make from.
Yeah, you
That's
can.
true. That's true. That's true.
Have fair fur
you
everything. All
can.
fur,
She can walk
everything.
around all over Ottawa. Ottawa.
So yeah, so they don't have weed in Canada right now. So we got to postpone our field trip up
Tons
there
of-
till they
man.
restock.
Okay,
Tons
yeah.
of craft grows. You know, it's
Yeah.
more. They get that information because having that recreational marketplace, they gave their recreational vendors priority rec sales. So the moment that it went rec, if they were in an area that allowed them 24-hour access, like similar to like Toronto or the larger Vancouvers,
Mhm.
the more partier, like our New York cities and
Yeah,
our LAs,
the larger population.
the larger
areas.
population areas where now they have that 24-hour dispensary for
Right, they got
medicinal. Now they have it
everything.
for recreational.
No, that's
Online
right.
sales,
And it's
delivery,
awesome. Yeah, online sales. You can
depending on
walk
the
around.
province.
You know
Yep.
how upset I was Saturday when I realized at 5:51 that Arrow was closing at 6:00, and I was here in New Haven. I was like,
Ooh,
oh man,
I went
I
to
know.
Arrow last week.
this was a bad weekend for me.
Yeah.
I went to Arrow
Oh.
this weekend and I picked up one hybridol concentrate, a half gram of that,
Oh,
and I
nice.
picked up an Indicol something or other.
C or B?
It was
One of them.
One of them. I think it was the C, and
Oh.
it was whatever one they had left, and that's where my issue is. It's always what they have left.
Yeah.
They
they've
haven't
been down
had
to
my good
nothing.
stuff
Yeah.
Oh,
lately.
no Biscay.
Yeah,
No
Biscay.
Aniva, nothing.
No Aniva. Yeah.
You know,
Oh,
it's just-
somebody's got a comment.
that was
It
just by
says-
the grows. You
I
know,
can't
ooh,
see
new
that far.
comments.
Oh, it's Brian.
Nope. It
Nope,
says
it says
new
new
comments.
comments.
Under Brian.
Oh.
Did y'all already talk about Brian?
No, we didn't.
What are
does
we gonna
Brian-
talk about,
I'm sorry,
No,
I
I'm
can't
just
see
saying
it.
whatever he said.
We appreciate Brian very much. What does
Yeah.
this say here?
He
can't-
said we should worry about our local elections and
The
state legislators more than
governor.
the.
That's right.
Uh-uh.
Oh, Biscay is back.
is back. Thank you, Brian.
Oh, thank you, Brian. I'm
This
going
was
to
very
Arrow.
important
That was
information that he
news.
had to share.
I'll
We
be
might
the
take
Arrow.
we
All
might
right.
take a field trip to Arrow.
All right,
All right,
guys.
we got to pay the bills.
We're
and we
going to
got
get
some
into
news.
Harry's time. Here, we are listening to Cannabis Corner on WNHHLP 103.5 FM, broadcasting live from downtown New Haven. We're streaming live on TuneIn Radio and NewHavenIndependent.org. We're also streaming live video on Facebook Live. Just go to Facebook.com, New Haven Independent, or go to your Facebook page and look us up. Real quick, events this weekend.
Yes,
or
what
this
do we got
weekend.
going on, brother?
Medical marijuana class with Kebra, 10 to 2. I have a couple seats left. Anybody wants to do it, put a comment on or send us a Facebook message through Facebook. Two
It is
seats left.
It is a great
Kebra,
great,
just
great
like she said
class.
before, she finished the curriculum,
Thank you, Jesus. Ooh.
finished updating it, so it's now brand new.
Great information, new information. Please
Yeah.
come out. We'd
Yep.
love to see you.
Got the support group, medical marijuana support group on the 7th at Bohemian High in Milford. That starts at 7.
Great people
Yes.
there.
Canna Health grand opening in Hartford on the 9th. We
Mhm.
talked about that earlier. What's the address, Kebra?
57 Pratt Street, Suite 405. So 4th floor,
What time?
405. 4 to 7 p.m.
Yes,
4 to
come
7
on up. There's
p.m.
parking off street, and there's a parking lot down the road as well. Come on in. The building is open. It's awesome, and we're super excited because this new location allows us to help people all over the place. And Kebra, you're doing an awesome job. We really appreciate everything you're doing for everybody because not only are you an entrepreneur in the field, but you're also giving back to the community. And you spend that time really giving back that time, and we really appreciate that.
Thank you. I appreciate it. And I apologize for having to reschedule everything.
We
I mean, I just
swore that
No,
was
we
gonna
did it
be
right.
that was going to be the worst day ever,
Yes.
apparently, by the
Well,
news.
Look, by school standards, that's what you're supposed
That's
to do.
right.
Okay,
That's what you
okay.
do. We have
We
to
did
look
what
out
we
for
had
the
to.
safety of the
Yes.
students. It's really what you're
I mean, my
supposed
friend.
to
Let me
do.
just tell y'all real quick though. My friend who was helping me coordinate the expungement thing, he was talking about because we're on Long Wharf needing boats and shiznai, and I was like, wait, if we need all that, then we definitely need to cancel.
Yeah.
It wasn't no need for no boat.
No. No.
And the last thing we got is cooking with cannabis with
Woohoo!
Uncle Lou.
Uncle
He's
Lou.
going to show
Uncle
you
Lou.
how to infuse butter and make it all, and then how to make it for Thanksgiving. You're doing a
We're
Thanksgiving
going to do a
theme,
little
you just
Thanksgiving
do
theme.
everything.
We're going to mix it all in, starting from the beginning to the end there.
So
All
all
right.
you people who are inboxing me all the time about how to make canna butter, how to cook with
Oh,
cannabis,
we're gonna make
this
canna
is
butter.
your class.
We're gonna
November
show
the
you-
10th.
We're going to show you how to
November
use
10th.
some, because the hands-on portion, I have some CBD products coming in that we'll be able to use
Okay.
and really show you how to infuse and activate some
and I
of
have
those
some
things.
isolates.
Yep, that'd be
All
awesome.
right.
Okay.
We'll bring it all. We'll have fun
Yeah,
that day,
we're gonna have a
November
good
the
time.
10th.
Okay.
All right, guys. I guess that's it for this week. Harry the Brave is up next.
Yes, he's
And
going to be
he's gonna-
shedding some positivity and
He's going to
love.
break the mainstream media. Talk to you later.
We appreciate you all. Have a happy, healthy, and high weekend.
My shoebox got 100 G.
What up?
Man, fill the bag, man. You know, go get a plug and find a town. And get the paper. The hustle counts.